Here I have some poached pear tea in my handmade mug made by me. It's inspired by a white pumpkin that I made in 2024, shortly before my son was born. It's one of the last mugs that I made. It's not really pleasant throwing pottery with a gigantic pregnant belly, nor is it feasible to make pottery with a baby. So, let me explain what I have for the Jaunty SAL. This is a series of 12 mini skeins that are based off of the colors of each birth flower for the appropriate month. This is a 6-ounce pack that was dyed up by Greenwood Fiberworks based in Utah and was sold during her 12 days of Christmas towards the end of December. Here is the name of each colorway from left to right: Carnation, Violet, Daffodil, Daisy, Lily of the Valley, Roses, Water Lily, Gladiolus, Morning Glory, Cosmos, Chrysanthemum, and Holly. I have taken my fiber and I have split it in half. 2 pieces. My plan is to do a 2-ply yarn, mostly because I like the bounce of 2-ply. This is 100% Polworth. And most of the colors that I have from the 12-month birth flower pack that I got is from end to end pretty much exactly the same. So this is February, by the way. This is Violet. Starts at like a gray, moves into a mauve, into shades of purple, super vibrant, and then it goes back. So like in a serpentine fashion. So instead of spinning these separately and then plying them together, what I'm going to do is take one of the plies and find the halfway point, split it in half, and then spin it serpentine, but with the opposite ends. So it will start very vibrant, move into that mauve and in the gray, and then back to the vibrant purple. So that way, when they're spun up and plied together, there's going to be more contrast. The mauve will not be as high of a contrast, but I'm hoping that the plies will be a little bit different in color. I am trying to avoid a stripy effect in my shawl, but not so much so where you can't tell which month is apart from another. I still want to see each section, but I don't want it to be like super stripy the entire way. In a way, this is kind of a fractal. Personally, I think fractals are more effective in a 3-ply, but I'm not wanting to do a 3-ply, just a 2-ply. So that is how I'm going to be spinning my yarn. That is how I'm going to be prepping my fiber. So here I go, splitting more. So something that I am considering as I'm spinning this is how thin I'm actually spinning. I have a tendency to spin very thin, and I do not want to have a super thin yarn. I'm trying to achieve somewhere between a sport and a DK weight with the 2-ply, which is going to be a challenge for me, but we'll see what happens. This is most certainly a process project rather than a project. I'm sure there's a better way of framing that. But I'm not making this because I want the end product. I am making this because the process of making it seems like a blast. I tend to wear very dark colors, the occasional jewel tone, and bright colors are not really my thing. What I do like to do is pair something extremely bright with all black. There's this hat that belongs to my husband, and it is filled with geometric patterns and loud colors, and it's my favorite hiking hat because I just wear, some exercise pants that are black and a black t-shirt. So I feel like this super colorful shawl will be tons of fun with all black. Plus it will be close to my face, so it will draw attention to my eyes when having a conversation. So even talking right now, I am starting to spin a lot thinner. So let's go ahead and check the thickness. So I have this nifty tool that I got at my local yarn store. And let's see how thin the single is. It's a little difficult to tell because of how similar the grooves are. So it's definitely not a 55 wraps per inch. It's closer to 50. What I'm looking here is for the single to fit flush into the groove without there being gaps. And it looks like it's closer to 45. Yes, 45. And then when I do a ply back test, it looks pretty nice. Take my other nifty tool. Let's see. So realize that after spinning, it's going to be wet blocked and then thwacked. So that way it blooms. So right now it's sitting close to a fingering. Borderline sport, closer to a fingering weight. So that means I need to spin ever so slightly thicker to get the end result that I want. Originally, I wasn't going to knit this shawl because I didn't think that I had fiber that I liked for the shawl. But I just kept thinking about it, and maybe it's just one of those bandwagon things where you see everybody else doing it, so you want to do it too. I've been falling victim of that trend often. I did it with the Rosie sweater. I did it with the Traveler hood. I did it with a couple test knits, mostly because I just loved it and wanted to knit it so bad, just right on the spot. I did it with a mystery knit along. I don't know. There's so many projects on my queue that I really want to knit, but as soon as my needles free up, it seems as though there's like this hot new thing that everyone's doing, and I want to do it too. So I'm hoping to break that this year, but I'm not really starting off on a good spot, am I? So we will see. So we're at the halfway point with the first ply. I'm currently spinning July's colorway, which I believe is Water Lily. It's greens, whites, yellows, and pinks. It has this super vibrant pink right there. And I realized that spinning this yarn the way that I'm doing it, it's going to end up really thin. It's going to end up a 2-ply fingering weight, which will create a thinner fabric. But this shawl is supposed to be like for the winter, and I know that I don't really live in a cold climate, so I want to be able to use it. However, I really want to have a closer to a sport weight, maybe even DK weight yarn. And I could theoretically buy another pack of this. The original seller, the dyer of this fiber, she has a sale today where she has the remainders of these packs available on her website. But if you recall, I'm not going to be purchasing more fiber or more yarn this year. So this is going to challenge me to dive into my stash and figure out another plan. So what I'm thinking is going through my stash and picking the random bits of merino that match some of these colorways and making a 3rd ply. I was thinking of doing 12 segments that are about 1/2 ounce, which is the amount of these braids, and doing it that way. So, for example, this colorway, Water Lily, has greens, pinks, whites, and yellow. The 3rd ply that will twist with this segment of my yarn is going to be a color that's within this colorway. So either a white, a yellow, a pink, or a green. So it will make the barber pulling effect of the plied yarn a little less obvious, a little more harmonious. It will make my shawl look more stripy because each section is going to be a different color. But at least I'll be able to see them a little bit more clearly. And obviously, when I apply it, it's not going to lie perfectly in line. Like some of the yarn, some of the 3rd ply from this Water Lily is going to bleed into the Gladiolus, which is August, the next one, so on and so forth. So it's going to be kind of organized, but a little chaotic. And I'm okay with that. This is supposed to be a colorful, fun shawl. And I have already accepted the fact that this might end up being super ugly, but you know what? I made it, so it doesn't matter. If it's ugly, it's ugly. I can always gift it. This is 100% a process spin, process knit, rather than a project spin and knit. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go through my stash, find some solid color merino that matches each segment and ply it that way. So with a 2-ply fingering weight, if I add a 3rd ply, it should be a sport weight. Additionally, it's going to provide more yarn. So the pack of the 12 birth flowers was roughly 6 ounces of yarn. And if you look at the pattern page on Ravelry, we're looking at at somewhere between 150 and 250 grams for a properly sized jaunty shawl. I'm not looking for a cute little neck scarf like the Sophie scarf. I want a big, chunky shawl that's going to cover my entire neck and some of my shoulders. I don't have anything like that in my closet, and I would like to have something like that. So if I add a third ply, then this is roughly going to be 9 ounces of yarn. So if you do the math, 6 ounces of fiber, split it in half, 1 for each ply. That's 3 ounces per ply. So the third ply is going to be also 3 ounces. So 3 plus ply, 3 plus ply, 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9. So that is more than enough yarn for a shawl. Additionally, I was a little concerned about knitting the shawl while I'm traveling because I won't have a scale with me. But then I thought, there's 12 segments of this shawl, 1 for each month. And June's birth flower is roses, which is the only one that has bright pinks and black. So the halfway point when I'm knitting the shawl is going to be the end of the roses. So I'll just do it that way. And if I don't have enough to bind off, then I can always frog a little bit and do a bind off that way, or I can just wait until I get back home to use some scrap yarn. And if there's a little bit on there, maybe, here's an idea. Since we're going to be going to Czechia, just over the German border, to go to a yarn store, maybe I just get a little bit of yarn from there and bind off with that yarn if I need to. So that way there's a little bit of a souvenir yarn within that shawl to remind me of the trip that I'm taking. So I think that's going to be my plan. So I'm hoping it will turn out more like colorful, pretty, borderline, ugly, loud, rather than a muddy, chaotic mess that does not suit anything, including myself. So, we'll see. Is January 22nd, and it's kind of late at night. My husband fell asleep watching his podcast, and my son is sound asleep, so figured I would check in. I am past the halfway point of the third and final ply of this yarn for the Jaunty shawl. I'm at the point where I'm starting to get burnt out whenever I'm approaching the finish line of spinning a yarn, or at least getting to the finish line of plying. I always feel exhausted. I have this initial excitement when I start spinning a yarn, I can't wait until it's done. I can't wait to see what the finished product is. I'm having such a blast. And right before plying, you see all the small, thin, single plies, and you just see this never-ending stream of wool. And you get this feeling of, is it ever going to end? And luckily, all of the yarn that I've been spinning has been super colorful, so it's been quite stimulating to see the colors grow on the bobbin. But now that I'm almost done with the third ply and I'm so close to plying, I'm getting so excited. And I just want to ply it all together and see what the end result will be. I finished the second ply not too long ago. I think it was 2 days ago. And it is looking very carnival. And I'm a little nervous that the yarn is going to end up extremely hideous. But it's okay. It's part of the process. And I'm throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this. So hopefully it turns out nice. Please excuse my crazy hair. It has been a long day of playing with my son, driving to another city to collect my husband's repaired pickup truck because our neighbor accidentally drove straight into his truck and demolished the driver's side corner. So his truck has been at the mechanic for approximately 3 weeks getting repaired. So I picked that up today. My son had a random burst of energy after dinner, so my husband and I were having dance parties with him and flipping him around and tossing him onto the couch. He's going to be 14 months old tomorrow, so he's at that age of utter chaos where he can barely communicate with hand gestures and grunts. And it's so much fun. I love having a kid at this age. Before having kids, I was genuinely afraid of the in-between, or more so like 1 to 3 years old. But I'm having a lot of fun. He's definitely wearing me out in a good way and challenging my attention spans and pushing my physical limits as far as climbing on jungle gyms at the park and chasing him around fields. It's an absolute blast. There's the third ply so far. She's looking very colorful. Very, very colorful. I am on the Gladiolus mini skein. This is the August colorway from last year. I have September, October, November, and December left to do. Oh, gotta do a tea check though. This is a German tea that was given to me by my mom for Christmas. It's a Speculatius apple cinnamon tea. It's very tasty. It's very colorful. It brings me a lot of joy. Also, these purples are just really nice. August is my birth month, so I feel a little connected to this colorway, even though it only has one of my favorite colors. If only there was a little bit of green, but that's okay. It's still really pretty. So yeah, I'll check back again once I finish the plies. I am super happy with the final result of this yarn. Here are the stats. It is 66% Polworth, 30% merino, and 4% alpaca. It is a 3-ply yarn with a single spun in a Z-twist and plied in a S-twist. It is 272 grams and 782 yards, resulting in a DK weight yarn. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. If you would like to follow along with the journey of the Jaunty, please be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye!